Hi, this is George at paintreproductions.com. I hope you're enjoying this video series, and I wanted to take a moment in it to go over something so it's understood what I'm doing in the background, because it may seem strange. Okay, what I've done is I've created the first grisaille layer, and then once the grisaille layer is complete, I take a black glaze, which is a real thin down layer of black paint mixed with the Winsor Newton glaze, and I paint the whole thing. Okay, I'm not wiping it out with paper towel. I'm not doing anything. You can see it's already removed some of the color on there. It's fine. The whole point of this is that what I'm going to do is I'm going to repaint it again. But what I'm doing now is I'm letting a lot of this stuff start falling into the background. So these darks, the darker darks will just start falling into the background. So in the next part of the composition, what I'm doing is I'm just going to concentrate on the highlights, adding some color back in, and I'm only going to work on this area. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the whole thing again. I'm going to glaze it again. Now I'm only going to work on this area. And then I'm going to do it again. I'm only going to work on this area. What this is going to do, it's going to give it a real nice Caravaggio effect, or sfumato. Well, sfumato is more of a smoky effect, but the Caravaggio effect, the light and the dark, it's really going to separate. It's going to push this light stuff forward. And the best way to really think about this is think about a stage. Okay, so we want to play with the lighting on the stage. So I want my main focus to be in this area, to be so bright that it stands out, but everything else to recede into the background, except for little highlights of color. It's very difficult to paint that and get that kind of feeling in one sitting. But by doing it in multiple sittings, it makes it easier, and you don't have to concentrate on such big areas. This isn't a new technique. It's not nothing I invented or anything like this. This was Rembrandt's been known to paint his paintings 3 or 4 times. It's a lot of paintings by the masters. There's a lot more than one sitting in your painting, and there's a lot more. And it's one of the things I've discovered after the years of doing reproductions is that some of these are multiple sittings done over a little bit of time, It's finding these techniques and applying them to how you want to paint. I don't do this in every style of painting. This is just in certain styles where we really have that mastering the light, like Caravaggio. Now, a lot of people say Caravaggio painted directly from life, and that he painted all this, and I'm sure he might have. He was brilliant. He died very young, and all of his work is brilliant and everything like that. But these guys were all masters of using glazes, and they're masters of colors, and why they wouldn't apply that. And it's very difficult to try and do a Caravaggio where you're just going to go direct at it. This kind of look like that overall finished painting. So how he did it and the exact way he did it, unless it's broken down, it's a mystery to me, but this is the way I'm comfortable in doing it. It's just gonna seem odd. It's gonna seem odd that you paint all this detail and you work on all this fine little stuff just to cover it with black paint. I know it seems odd and it feels odd, but the next time we do it, we're just reinforcing something. We're not painting the same area over and over again. Now I'm just gonna concentrate, like on the hand, I'm just gonna concentrate on these highlighted areas. And I'm gonna leave the dark, the shadows, I'm gonna leave that be. Because when I go to add the darker glaze, I'm going to reinforce those darker shadows. So when you start to see it, and it's really hard to do this on video to show me doing it, because when the glaze is wet on here, it's very, very glossy, and it reflects all the light like it did in those previous videos. So I'll probably move into a regular standing palette when I do glazing from this point forward, so you can actually see better what I'm doing. But this becomes more clear, especially in the face of Jesus, and where Caravaggio was a master there's very little detail in Jesus's face. It's almost completely blacked out except for a couple little areas. So I didn't spend a lot of time on his face right there, because the main thing he wanted to do was catch the expression here and this part of the painting. This is the part that's the most important part of the painting, and he doesn't want to let anything compete with that part of the painting. So everything else is almost to the point where it's blacked out. They're after effects, so it's all done on purpose. So this keeps standing out and stands closer and closer to you. So the farthest we can get these darks in the back, and the brighter we can get this stuff to the forward, the more the effect of the 3D and the more of the illusion of the actual light will come into play. So even as you're doing the robe, you'll start to see me just do the whitest areas of the robes now. the whitest area of the robe. You'll see me touch up the whitest areas of the flesh. And you'll understand this, that it'll all come together. So it may seem like an odd technique, but when you actually see it in play, and if you watch some of my other videos, if you watch the landscape video on the tutorial on how I glaze the landscape so it looks in the back, and how I start with a whole area, then a smaller area, then a smaller area, just into that area, it's the same general concept. It's the same kind of technique. And once you master this technique, or not master it, but once you feel comfortable with it and you start applying it, you'll find your productions are a lot easier, because you'll start noticing in the painting where it was done.